All right, this is 1.6 recall. Recall meaning you probably should have learned it before this class, but I want to make sure that you really know this real well. All right, so the goal is to solve two-step equations, and I underline solve and equations on purpose. Right, the big idea is how do you solve equations? And in general, there's several different, you're going to hear all sorts of stuff, but here I want you to understand that you are undoing, you're going to be undoing the operations. And that's a terrible S. Undoing operations. So ultimately, as you remember, the order of operations are PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And in general, whenever you plug numbers in, you want to follow the order of operations. And that should be pretty natural at this point. Now, as you go about undoing operations, we are going to be doing this backwards. So you really, in general, you're going to start with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And then if you have any exponents or parentheses, you'll handle those at that point. And I'm going to go through a couple of examples so you can really see exactly what I mean by that. So here this is plug in. You go this way, solve equations. You're going to go that way. All right. So here we go. So again, undoing operations. So think opposites. All right. So think opposites. Let's go through a few examples so you can see what I'm talking about. First example I want to take a look at is really basic. 9x minus 7 equals negative 7. Okay. Now, other things another thing I really want you to pay attention to. All right, what's the difference between presentation and scratch work? All right. My presentation, this was given to me. It said the directions are going to be solve. In other words, find the value of x. What value of x makes this true? All right, my presentation, I'm going to keep when I'm solving equations now. It's different for all sorts of stuff, but when I'm solving equations, again, solving equations, all right, my presentation should be nice and linear, so it's going to go straight down. And if I need to, I'll have room on the right side so I can show any scratch work if I need to. All right, so my presentation, I'm going to show one step, and I'm going to go from there. Now, I guess you really ought to think about one thing, right? One other thing. Hold on. Don't forget the golden rule. What you do to one side, you better do to the other. That is the golden rule of algebra. All right, so here we go. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Again, here I have multiplication, subtraction, and then equals a number. Again, so I want to start from bottom up. I need to handle any addition and subtraction first. Well, here's subtraction. All right, and the opposite of subtraction is addition, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Now, negative 7 plus 7, that's gone by design. And now I'm going to clean it up. What do I have left over here? I have 9x's left over on that side. The whole thing is equal to negative 7 plus 7, which is 0. Now, along my way up, I've handled addition and subtraction. Now I move on to the multiplication or division step. Well, here, what's happening between 9 and x is multiplication. The undoing, the opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by that number. And 9 divided by 9 is 1, and it's gone by design. And I have x left over on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side of the equal sign, I have 0 divided by 9. Well, 9 goes into 0 exactly 0 times. So here, my answer would be x equals 0. All right, let's handle one that's going to be a little bit different. Directions, again, are going to say solve. And we're going to solve this guy first. So let's try 144 equals negative 12 times x plus 5. All right. So here I have negative 12 times x plus 5. Well, those are in parentheses, right? I got to handle the parentheses last. Oh, wow. So do I have any addition and subtraction happening over here? And ignore the parentheses for a second. No addition and subtraction. I have multiplication, right? That negative 12 is being multiplied by x plus 5. So here I'm going to divide by negative 12, divide by negative 12. 144 divided by negative 12 is negative 12. And then what do I have left over? Those cancel out, and I have x plus 5 left over on the right-hand side. Now I can handle what was inside the parentheses. Well, here now, what was left inside the parentheses? I have to follow the order of operations backwards again. So here I have to undo the plus 5 in order to get x by itself. And the opposite of plus 5 would be minus 5. So let's subtract 5, and I have negative 17 left over. And that would be my answer. All right, let's try a couple more. Try a few more here. I want to make a nice little easy one. Let's do nice and easy. Let's do 0 equals 4 plus x divided by 5. All right, so this is our next example. Again, we're trying to solve. Okay, following PEMDAS backwards, so I have to start with any addition and subtraction. Well, here's this addition, and I look in front of the 4. Now, this is a positive 4. So a positive 4, I get rid of a positive 4 by subtracting 4. So I'd have to subtract 4 from both sides. It's gone over here, and 0 minus 4 is negative 4, and I'm left with x over 5. And now, again, thinking in terms of opposites. What's happening between x and 5? That's division, right? So note, fractions are division. All right, so what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So if I multiply both sides by 5, those cancel and I'm left with x. And 5 times a negative 4, it gives me a negative 20. All right, not so terrible. Not so terrible. Let's do one more here. Let's do one more. Let's see. Here we go. Let's try n plus 5 over negative 16 equals negative 1. Okay, now, I know we said to do PEMDAS backwards. But here I have an n plus 5 all being divided by negative 16. So I have to think about this in parentheses. So if that's in parentheses, I'm going to handle him last. So is there any other addition and subtraction? No. Here I have division, and I get rid of division with multiplication. So I multiply by negative 16. Whatever that number is, you just multiply by it, even if it's negative. So here I have negative 16. That cancels, and I'm left with n plus 5. Negative 1 times a negative 16 is a positive 16. The opposite of addition is subtraction, so I subtract 5, and n is going to be equal to 11. All right, that should be enough to help you out with a couple of these and get you back on track as far as solving equations.